Okay, we'll get started. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This time I'll ask Reverend Tony, one of our chaplains, if she would bless us with an opening prayer.
Lord, we come before you tonight, and we come before you in the spirit of unity, because you said where there is unity, you command the blessing to flow. So let this be a night as we come before you, that you would touch every heart, touch every mind, and let us be here together as one under you. Amen.
All right, thank you. Just want to welcome you. I know the weather is kind of not inviting, but you braved the elements and appreciate you coming out. This is the last of 4 quarterly Mayor's Citizens Forum for the year, for 2024. The next one will be next year, God's willing, in March, and that will be advertised. But we thank you for coming out. Again, this is a year-end, wanted to be festive. We're going to end with a raffle again, and giveaways, and then we do have refreshments in the back for you. Again, the purpose for the Mayor's Forum is to open up the Mayor's office to the public and to field questions, and to also a two-way kind of dialogue, and to apprise the residents of current trends, crime trends, or anything that we believe is newsworthy regarding public safety. The police chief is usually here, and he is again, and he'll be providing some updates for us. And it's good to see so many counselors with us tonight as well. Without further ado, I'm going to call on Counselor Nicole Beatty, and she's going to provide us an update on the tree lighting ceremony tomorrow. If you could update us.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, we will see you all back out tomorrow evening. There are flyers out in our vestibule out there for tomorrow's tree lighting and our holiday soiree event. We're planning on having a really good time. It's going to be catered. It'll be a winter wonderland in here tomorrow. Free food, music, we'll play some games, raffles. We're raffling off quite a bit, and we will have a ugly sweater contest for those who want to participate. We will judge that. We're going to have everybody judge the ugly sweaters. It's a $50 gift card for that. We'll have, and the mayor was so gracious to donate quite a few other gift cards along with myself. And we're going to also raffle off that Keurig over there, compliments of our chief. Thank you very much, Henry, for the donation of that. So please come out, have a good time. Please bring positivity to this event. We are looking to really have a great time. Thank you so much. If you need a flyer, they're out in the vestibule. Thank you.
What time is the kickoff again?
Oh, I'm sorry. 7 p.m. for the tree lighting. We'll have the mayor, myself, and we'll have Little Miss Juneteenth and some other people do a little bit. It is very cold, I understand. So dress warmly. It is rain or shine. I don't believe it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it will be cold. I think it's going to be cold like it is this evening. But just wrap up, put a fur on, do what you got to do. And come up here, 8 o'clock. We will have food. Santa Claus will be here tomorrow as well. Bring your grandkids, your kids. Come out and have a good time. 7 to 10 p.m. tomorrow, right here, second floor.
Thank you, Councilor Beatty. And again, I think everybody, you know everybody on the here rostrum, but let me introduce in case you don't know, or for those who are at home, to my extreme left is our borough manager, Rafiq Cave. No, I'm sorry. she said sorry. To my extreme left is Councilor Liana Roadcloud. And seated next to her is our borough manager, Rafiq Cave. And next to him is Councilor Nicole Beatty. Next to her is Councilor Tony Trueheart.
Hello, everyone.
And next to her is Councilor Jesse Peets.
Good evening, everybody.
You know yours truly, Rowan Hepkins. And next to me is our police chief, Henry Giamarco. So at this time, we're going to just hand it over really to the police chief and update us on some of the things that are happening with Kerr Field, police staffing, various trends, 2025 priorities, and I'll hand it over to him at this time.
Good evening, everyone. Just to touch on Kerr Field really quick. I received a call from Darnell Deans, and I know he reached out to the borough manager. With their budget, they are having issues with having a security officer at the field. So there will not be a security officer, from what I understand, at the field anymore. So I would ask that the walkers, we have extra patrols over there checking it, but if you see anything that's going on, please dial 911. But from their budget, they said they cannot have a security officer there, but they still want to keep the field open for the walker. So just extra eyes would be great in the community. And I'm just going to touch on something that's real important. We put out a release yesterday. It's wintertime. We all know it's cold. Please, I cannot stress this enough. Do not leave your cars running to warm them up without you being in your vehicle. Or if you have a remote start, by all means, start your car. It is extremely cold out there. But after that got released, about 20 minutes later, a call came out. Someone left their car running, and guess what? Someone walked by and took it. When we responded to the call in this area, driving by, I noticed about 2 other cars too running with no one in it. It's cold. I understand that, but you know, it's a crime of opportunity. And normally, what happens is let's face it, someone walking to school, they're cold, or someone that doesn't have a car and sees a car running with no one in it, they can hop in and take off in an instant. And the other thing is, 'tis the season for the Grinches, so there's porch pirates all over the place. Chief Viola in Haverford put out, and then we put it out too, be careful with these packages. If you have the opportunity, depending on what you order, have someone sign for them. If you're utilizing Amazon, Amazon has lockers in the area where you can actually have your package go. If you have a neighbor that you trust or a family member, have it sent there. But again, last year we had a situation, we got the person. What they were doing is they worked for the company, and they would go out, deliver the packages for Target for us people that don't go to Target, but and they would drop off the package. Hey, they just dropped it off, took a photo, and their significant other would leave the car, grab the package, and they would drive on to the next thing. So that was an arrest that we made. But again, be careful with the packages. And I would like to, as the mayor talked about, moving on to 2025, we have some things in the works. We're going to be getting into passport parking. If anyone's been to media, now where you just have an app on your phone, you put in your location and you can park there instead of having to carry change. What we're trying to do, and with Rafi's hard work and collaboration, we're trying to go, if possible, to cashless as much as possible. So it's easier now. If you want to park in town, you just go on the app where the meters are, and you'll just put the code in and you'll put your time in. So that's something that's been long overdue, and I think that's going to help us. The parking issues have been resolved, not fully resolved where now I know they're out there, because when I first got here, you would drive down the street on the days that the cars weren't supposed to be parked there, and you'd see cars everywhere. Now you can just drive straight down. So it's a work in progress. We're getting it. And another goal that I had the honor of being selected for a New Blue Fellowship. And essentially what New Blue is an organization that like-minded law enforcement that realize that, two things can be true, that the system has a lot of deficiencies and is broke at times, but we can also work together to fix it. So in collaboration with a community partner who also happens to be a chaplain, we're working on a capstone project where we're going to try to implement a mediation type program. So we're working on it now. We're hoping to get it maybe late 2025, where when our officers go out to a situation where neighbors might have a disagreement, instead of us just saying, yeah, well, you can go to court, we're hoping to have a situation where we can give them a card and say, hey, we have a mediation program, non-binding, but you can come in, we'll try to work it out before it goes at the next level. And this was just, if you watch the news, my old neighborhood in Mayfair, there was a situation where the police kept going to neighbor dispute. And unfortunately, the one neighbor knocked on the door and shot the other neighbor and killed the neighbor over just, trivial thing. And we just had something the other night in Philly, I think it was over trash, where somebody put their trash, they shot another person. And this is something forward thinking. It's an alternative response. And I referred to it in my pitch was, when years ago, we would go to the doctors and the doctor would stay with you in a room for 35 minutes. Now you go to a doctor, you're lucky if you get 2 minutes and they're out. And usually it's a PA anyway to seize you. But with police work, we used to go to call to call to call. Now we're having officers that'll be at a neighborhood issue for over 40 minutes on a call. So we're trying to come up with inventive ways that we can offer solutions to the community. And one thing I wanted to respond to that was brought to my attention, unfortunately, I don't have time to be on social media all the time, and it was a libelous statement or a libelous comment about me. There was a situation where, and I'm going to blame Patty on this one, she's sitting in the corner over there. We had our Waytech is our computer support. So Waytech came in, and Brian from Waytech and Patty were talking, and Patty said, hey, we're having this trunk or treat event. Would you like to donate? And of course, Patty being Patty, she got the donation. So Brian bought a check in for $100. Here's the check, copy of the check. So I go up to Sheila, and Sheila said, well, Chief, you're going to buy more candy anyway. So once you buy the candy, bring me the receipt from Sam's Club. So it was a $133 receipt. And then we'll give you back the $100 that you spent because it's Brian's money. You can't bring a check to Sam's Club. So long story short, it was put, I guess, on Nextdoor that, why other people have to buy groceries, the chief is taking $100 of your money. There's a lot of things you can say about me, but cheap is not one of them, okay? The coffee pot there, that was a donation to the library. The brick that says Yeadon Police came out of my account. Last year, spending money after we bought a bunch of candy and having to run down to Family Dollar, that came out of my account. There's a lot of stuff. When we have the cross, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, when we have the crossing guards in here, I don't go up and say, hey, I had the crossing guards in, here's money. When I do sandwiches, I don't do that. I'm not cheap. So there's a lot of stuff you can say about me, but I learned a long time ago, facts before acts. So if you want to be libelous and make these libelous statements, come to my face, not my back. So with that, and I appreciate the community support, and I just wanted to get it out of here. Like I said, you can call me whatever you want, but don't call me cheap, okay? That's the last thing. Like when I go out to dinner, I'm not cheap, trust me. You can ask my wife too. She monitors the account, and unfortunately, I'm definitely not cheap.
Let 'em know.
But with that, Mr. Mayor, here you go. And thank you. If any questions at all, let me know, or you can ask them.
Go ahead, Councilor. Yeah, give her the. Yeah, because use the mic because of those
Okay,
live
thank
streaming.
you. Do Aqua have representatives knocking on doors to evaluate whether or not the property has lead pipes? Are they Because I had two representatives today that knocked on my door, and they did indicate, they showed their identification and things of that nature. It really doesn't matter because anybody can copy anything. However, I wasn't, afraid, but it was two young women. They did have credentials, and they indicated that a letter was sent out to all residents, and that you have a choice. You could either let them come in and look themselves to see if there's lead pipes, or they gave you a piece of paper with like a QR code on same, and you could look at it yourself and then send it into Aqua, because apparently Aqua is taking an inventory of all lead pipes. And I asked them, did the borough know they were coming through? And they said yes.
I'm sorry. Unless
Rafi,
unless they reach out to Rafi, this is the first time I heard about this. Now, I know I was reached out to by a concerned resident in reference to somebody was out for, I believe, one of the electric company.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I immediately contacted that person and told them they need a solicitation permit, where to get the solicitation permit. And I also contacted their company via email and got a response saying that we apologize, it's another vendor. So I didn't know anything about Aqua. I'll follow up with Mike and I'll follow up with Aqua to find out. But this is the first time I'm hearing about Aqua being out there.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have to get a solicitation permit, because they're literally going into the house to inspect to see if the pipe is lead or not, if you opt for them to do that. Or they'll just give you the paper and ask you to scan the QR code.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't let anybody in I wouldn't let anybody in my house, even with the ID, because like you said, you can get a fake ID.
Right, okay. And my next thing, I'm sorry that you had to justify that financial situation. I personally did not receive any questions relating to the donation that was on the AP list. I already knew what it was for, and it's just unfortunate that people feel it necessary to, to make others look as if they're doing something nefarious. And it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. And I'm glad you did correct it, but we can't get into the habit of always correcting, because you're always going to have individuals that are just going to be negative for no reason. But then when they turn around and put a lie in writing, that's next level. And you just said something about you've been selected for the code blue or something. And that's for residents, neighbors having issues with one another. That's a good program, a very good program. So, those issues between neighbors are legitimate. But when you have a person creating issues on purpose, that's a problem. And it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So I do apologize that you had to, defend yourself, against that. I'm sorry that, someone put your name out there with a negative, negative context relating to money. But I hope that will not be a repeat. I don't know who did it. I didn't see it, but you've seen it. Others said they seen it. So I hope it's not a repeat, because we're all grown and we know better. We should know better. We're all doing the best that we can to perform our duties, and we do not need negative distraction. And I agree with the chief. If anyone has anything to say to me, about me, please come directly. I have no problem dealing with constructive criticism, but do it in a respectful manner. That's all we ask. Thank you.
Very well.
Okay, at this time, we'll open it up to any questions or comments that any residents, Ms. Tina?
I want to know what time the track will open in the morning.
I think it's still the same time. I think Darnell said that it's going to still be the same time. Yeah, Mr. Dean said it's going to be the same time. I'm just saying if you see something down there, just, dial 911 and let us know, so.
Yes.
If you have an Amazon app, what you can do is, like, when you go to the app, it'll actually, when you order something, it'll say, like, where do you want it dropped? And it'll search in the area, and they have lockers. Like, 7-Eleven might have a locker, and it'll actually store it there. And then when you go there, you scan your phone, and that, like, when I want to buy something, I don't want my wife to know, that's where it usually goes to. Now I just gave myself up. She's probably watching this, so. But so that's yeah, because sometimes it's easier for a locker. Like CVS might have them, Marshalls might have them, and it's actually
Quite a few stores have.
yeah.
And all you have to do is go up, put it in, and take your package out of there. And it's in a locker, like a
Yeah.
school locker kind of thing. But I know Wawa and Glen Olden has it.
Yeah, Wawa and Glen Olden, so, yep.
Yeah.
And I do have an Amazon wish list if anybody wants to go on there.
Any other questions at this time? Comments? Suggestions?
Can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
So I want to piggyback off what my colleague on council said about, no, actually, I want to piggyback off of what the chief said about commentary and stuff that's being posted on social media. When we have these public forums, this is your opportunity to say what you have to say to our face. Don't hide behind, I don't need this. Don't hide behind digital devices and fake profile. Okay, yeah, for the Zoom people, y'all need to hear me. You need to just tell us what your concerns are. And I want to say respectfully, because if you disrespect me, just know I'm not the one or the two to be disrespected. Know that. But I am the first person that will go to bat for you if I feel like I need to. Well, maybe the second person. I think Leanna Rocloud got me beat in that department. We're public servants, but we are also human beings. We have family issues. Some of us have our own stuff we're dealing with, relationship stuff. We all go through the same stuff you go through. Sometimes it's work drama, so don't treat us like we're something other than human, because we're not. We're people. And we love this town. Some of you who know me personally, like a couple of us up here grew up here. Myself, Rafi, and Jesse, we grew up here. So we love this town. And we are doing this out of our own time, in addition to the other things that we may do. I'm part of 3 other organizations and have a full-time job. Now, I don't have a whole lot of other, I don't have kids or anything like that. But I have a lot of other responsibilities for work. This is something that I wanted to do as a public servant, and I didn't have to do it either. And not a whole lot of people step up to do it, but a whole lot of people have a lot to say. So I will just say this: if you have concerns, legitimate concerns, yes, that's what we're here to hear. But it's not a license to disrespect us, because it's not necessary, number one. It's not going to get you anywhere, number two. And it's just not nice. Some of y'all just need to just learn how to be nice. You can get further. What's the old saying? You can get a lot further. What's the saying? I don't know. It's old, so I don't know it because I ain't old. Y'all know the saying. Y'all know the saying. Just come to us right. And I love what you said. We're not perfect. We don't do everything right. If we make mistakes, you're supposed to call us out on our mistakes. But you don't have to disrespect, and you certainly should not be lying on any of us. That's just not cool at all. But please, I implore you, and I implore you to get involved. Those of you who are in this community that are not serving on any committees or doing anything, and you want to know where your place is in this community, find it. Find something. We have several committees for Yeadon that you can join and be a part, because that's, to me, putting your money where your mouth is. I like people who walk it and not talk it. You got to do some work in this town. And some of us been doing it for a long time, before we got on council too. So that's all I would like to say. Again, we're here to serve. We're not here to be abused. We're human, and we just want to do what's good for the good of this town. Thank you so much.
One of the things I also want to keep in front of us is we've been talking about having a camera system in the borough, extensive camera system in the business district at Borough Hall. We need more cameras here. It's insufficient what we have, and in strategic locations or dumping areas. Main thoroughfares. You saw the situation in New York where someone was, a CEO was, and camera systems are very crucial in solving crimes, preventing crimes. We have dumping areas that would, if we had cameras, would be able to police that or manage that a lot better by interdicting violators. So the chief is and the borough manager are committed, as is myself and council, to see that come to fruition. We've been looking at grants, and the system will cost just roughly $200,000. And if chief keeps coming up with all these grants, maybe we'll be able to realize that sooner rather than later, and I'd like him to comment on where that stands at this time.
Mm-hmm.
A resident filed a complaint against a couple of officers last month, and we're told that you reviewed the body cameras and the two officers were exonerated, but the residents are being denied the final report of this investigation. And speaking of body cameras, who's, also being denied the body camera footage. So if the concern is, if in an incident where we're being told nothing happened, nothing was done wrong, but wagons are being circled and residents are being denied all information about the incident, how can we trust if something bad does happen that we're being told the truth, that the wagons aren't being circled? If we're just gonna, and council's gonna join in the wagon circle, where's the oversight?
What do you mean,
Was this
in the wagon? I don't know what that means. Go ahead.
Was this the same were you involved with the incident? Because I'm just curious, were you involved with the incident?
I was outside when the students were leaving Kerr Field. I wasn't,
That's not the question.
I wasn't over at the Canoco, but I could, from the front of my house, hear officers yelling at students. Nothing egregious. I just heard a friendly officer yelling, go home.
So you weren't involved. Anyway.
Was this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, was this the same incident that somebody brought to my, and I'm not on this social media platform, but obviously residents call, was this the same one where somebody made an accusation, a veiled accusation that this guy, whoever made this complaint, and I'm not going to give his name out, was somehow the police department nefariously made this guy disappear? Was this the same incident you're talking about?
No, we're talking about October 4th, after the Kerrfield football game, when there was 1,000 students or so on the streets, going every which way, and the complaint that was filed happened at the Canoco station, after the game at the Canoco station.
Canoco.
Is this the incident where a police officer allegedly pulled a
Yes.
student out of the station?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was reviewed. It was unfounded. I mean, unless you're the complainant, you're not. I mean, you're not really entitled to the letter says, and the complainant received the letter. He also tried to reach the complainant to be interviewed. He never came. The complainant never came in. So I don't, but if you're not the complainant, I don't understand but somebody made an accusation of Jeff Carson and you should tell whoever Jeff Carson is, and I'm putting out to Jeff, whoever you are, Jeff, when you take a photo and you're Jeff Carson, you got to watch, because the reflection that somebody showed me, it looks like a female. So Jeff, Jeff, if you're watching, Jeff, you might want to have somebody else take photos of Kerr Field, because the reflection in the camera, Jeff, it came back as like a female body. But Jeff Carson allegedly made a comment, from what I was told, from somebody on that Nextdoor app, that basically this complainant all of a sudden disappeared, and it kind of like the police department. Look, we're not making anybody disappear. This is not the mafia. Like, we reached out to the complainant. Even though I have a veil on my name, I swear I'm not a mafia member.
Right.
But yeah. So this complaint has been unfounded. The mayor took it a step further, reviewed it, and it's up to the mayor. And this complainant was also told if he or she didn't like our response, they can go to Delaware County. But I don't understand if you're not the complainant, we're not hiding anything. Like, I don't know what else. And just so you know, body cam is not right to know. But so people can arrest body cam all they want. It's not a right to know issue.
To do with you.
Let me give, without divulging the specificity of everything that we've done and that I've reviewed. Coming back I was away out of the country, and I'm still catching up, but I have done preliminary investigation, and I did see the video that the young man posted, or somebody posted on Nextdoor. Here's my concern as a mayor. When we lived in this country where police officers were given the benefit of the doubt when things happened, and many of police officers took that too far and did some very nefarious things. Then what happened is cell phones were able to capture a lot of bad police officers who were doing some of these things. And then you had various situations. It actually started from Rodney King, really in the 90s, and now with the proliferation of cell phones, we saw the situation with the George Floyd incident. Somebody came to my office, complaining that these white racist officers had abducted their child, their son, manhandled them, and they got it on video. Mayor, they got it on video. And they kept screaming and telling me that they have the evidence on video. I looked at the video, and the officer that handled it received a commendation because he was above reproach. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're doing our best, ma'am. And she swore she wanted to Rodney King, our police officer. And this young man, I believe, was doing the same thing. The body cameras protects the innocent, whether the innocent is the resident or the police officer. And he was baited. Just by looking at the video myself, he kept on following the police officer and trying to instigate the police officer into a situation. That was what I saw. Followed the police officer to the police station, and people on Nextdoor, I saw it, they were saying, he's instigated, he didn't de-escalate the situation. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's why we can't get police officers anymore.
Right. That's right.
Because they don't want the job. We made it hard of them.
It's a shame.
And I thought the police officer was de-escalating the situation by engaging with the juvenile, who was baiting him into an incident.
Lord have mercy.
And trying to George Floyd him, in my objective view of this situation. And the police officer was explaining to the young man why he was doing what he was doing. Yeah, and it was alleged, I'll say that the young man called that the officer called the young man a D-head. It was the other way around. The kid said that to the police officer, and he said, "Is that what you're calling me? You're calling me a D-head?" Now, I have all these experts next door said he should walk away. He should de-escalate the situation. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. There's no rule book of exactly how to handle a situation. If he walks away, he would be, and this man, a young man is baiting him, he would be accused of being insensitive and not addressing the young man. He addressed the young man to try to redirect it to show him where he's wrong. Is that what you're calling me? Is that what you're doing, young man? I don't see anything that the police officer did wrong. If the police officer did something wrong, they should be fired, and I'll be the first one to say that.
That's right.
This is what's happened to the police. This lady came here. I met with Anthony Paparo, Chief Paparo. The lady stomped and said, "You did this. I have it on video. We looked at the video. It was the opposite of what she was attesting." I was outraged. Outraged.
Yeah.
Because she was trying to George Floyd the situation. So you have the one extreme to what we had, where police had carte blanche. Now we have the other extreme, where they're being baited and instigated, and George Floyd, and all sorts of situations, so that they are not held accountable. And being lied on and spat upon.
It's not going to circle no one's wagon around foolishness.
So,
That's the violence.
with all due respect, Ms. And I appreciate what you're trying to do.
That's right.
The situation that I dealt with before was actually 10 times, it was in the same vein, was actually 10 times worse. She swore up and down, she has it on video, that this police was wrong. When we looked at all the body cams, it was the exact opposite. Yes, ma'am.
This is the first transparency we have gotten about this incident. We
Okay.
asked questions.
Okay.
Multiple
Fair
times.
enough, fair enough.
I emailed you.
Yes, you did.
Back in town.
Yes, you did.
Understand you were out of town.
Yes, you did.
When we ask questions and don't get answers,
Okay?
that's what's happening. That is what the problem was.
Okay.
I like our police officers. I've developed relationships with a number of them over the years. I don't know all the officers. I especially don't know the new officers. What we want is reassurance that if something goes down, that the other officers, if we have a new hothead,
Yeah.
who's just young and easily frustrated, we need to know that the other officers are going to keep him in line. We need to know the leadership is going to keep them in line.
All right.
But, when we don't get a response, we don't get answers, and somebody puts a video on next door that has another officer saying we can do that about the accusations, we're getting no reassurance.
I will.
This is the first
Okay.
time.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
You ain't got to keep.
Excuse me. May I say something?
Hold on.
Was answered at the last legislative meeting. Chief Paparo gave an answer.
Gianmarco.
Gianmarco gave an answer. He said the body cams were reviewed, people were interviewed, and the accusation was unfounded. That's the answer.
Yeah.
And
That's the answer.
And he's the police chief.
No, because you didn't like the answer,
No.
and you wanted to keep it going.
As
He
you.
was not our
No,
elected
you wanted to keep it going.
representative.
There, let's get on to the next thing.
So the cam.
All right, hold on.
Excuse me.
All right.
Hostage.
No, we're not being held on. We're having a discussion. We're having,
Private agenda.
And you don't
I
speak
gave
for-
my,
You speak for you.
yeah,
That's right. We ain't no we. We don't speak.
yeah, okay, all right. Let's,
Okay. Can we-
Counselor,
excuse me.
Counselor
Excuse
Trueheart.
me.
Counselor Trueheart.
This community has been held hostage by immaturity, by individuals who have felt as if they could do, say whatever they wanted to. We are a community. I've lived here for going on 43 years. And I live here with my husband because we choose to. I live here because we developed a sense of community with our neighbors. And I was raised that if you're going to be in the community, then you become a part of the community.
Right.
So I also was raised to indicate that, and I've heard so many things. I've listened to so many things. But as been stated before, I have always been an individual that if you have an issue, if you have a question, if you thought I said something, please come ask me, because I have no problem with telling you. And if I have an issue with you, I will come to you, because that is what mature individuals do. Now, having said that, we are at the point in time where this community has gone through quite a lot. When I was asked to become a part of this council, I said yes, because whether I sit in this seat or not, I will continue to do what needs to be done to work with people who will move forward. We have a job to do, because there has been a hole that we have been put in. Let's be for real, neighbors. And we don't have time any longer to deal with issues that are not going to address what the real issues are. Now, the one thing that I must say, we see a lot happening with our young people. But what example are we showing our young people in the way they should behave? When they see that the adults who are supposed to be the leaders, the adults who are supposed to be setting an example, the adults who are supposed to be taking care of things are not being mature, then why should they be? This community has always been a community that, and I love it, has always been multicultural. And we have always had police officers that did not look at the color of anybody's skin. They were the part of this community. Now, you will always find someone who, no matter somewhere, anywhere, white, black, or indifferent, that will not do what they're supposed to do. But you cannot hold everybody responsible for the actions of a few. And when there are issues, particularly because of the environment that we live in, when it comes to police officers, we need to make sure that when there is an issue, it is addressed. And when it is addressed and it is found that it has been addressed properly, then let us move on. Because we need to have officers who also feel that they are secure. Absolutely. That they don't have to worry about what they walk on eggshells. Because if they feel that they have to walk on eggshells, when there are real issues that are going on, they may be afraid or think twice about, should I be involved or not, if they're being constantly put in that kind of an environment. And that is not what we want. I know that's not what we want. But because we have a work to do in this community on all fronts, I feel like the mayor takes the time to put these kinds of meetings together when there are, and I know that other councilors have held, times where they've brought people together, town hall meetings. It is so that let us come together in the spirit of unity and bring to the table the ideas and the manpower and the energy to work with an issue, solve a problem, or take what's already been done and let's move it forward. We should not be here doing this kind of back and forth. Not when the intention is to come together to make sure that you're aware of what's happening, ask the questions, and when questions are answered, let us please move on. Because I know this man is not hiding anything, neither is this man, the women to my left and the gentleman here. We come to do what we were asked to do, and we don't agree all the time. No. But we do behave like mature individuals when we don't agree, because the bottom line is what's in the best interest for the community as a whole, period.
That's right.
Okay, let me wrap it up or sum this up in that. Let me put my 2 cents. This is what the Mayor's Forum and these types of meetings are for. that you could express your views. And we said that before. Rather here than someone surreptitiously putting something on Nextdoor or whatever, let's discuss it here. So this is what I could tell you, to your point. Yeah, I reviewed it, and I also saw the officers were exonerated. I thought the young man was insolent, was baiting the police, and I could tell you that I don't want to get into detail. We had another problem with that young man, that he was a borderline threatening somebody, okay, in the neighborhood. That seems to be a predilection or is provocative. It's provocative behavior. And the police have a very hard job where a lot is put on them. There are they have to make instant judgments on how to, as you said, to your point, de-escalate. I thought the officer did that to the best of his ability in a difficult situation. You just can't walk away when someone is berating you and you have all this stuff. You've got to, all these allegations, you're calling me this or that. You just can't. You've got to kind of address it and put it to bed. No, I'm not. You're calling me that, whatever. They did the best that they can in that type of situation. Here's what I could tell you, Ms. Liz and others, that I'm proud of the Yeadon Police Department. There's this has become an African community, African American community. I've been in this job for 12 years. Next year, finishing my third term. 7 years, I was the chairman of the Civil Service Commission. So I've been involved in police work, and I've taken an active role in the police department. Here's what I could tell you. When I go around the county, they tell me that Yeadon has probably the best reputation, until we screwed it up, but of almost any borough. Here's some of the facts. Just like there's economic indicators to tell you how the economy's going, the CPI, Consumer Pricing Index, with inflation, the gross national product, all those things. You could take a pulse. You could take a pulse in the police department. The complaints that you have, we hardly get any complaints or legitimate complaints. Here's a biggie. Crime is going down. We don't have a lot of serious crime in the borough. It's relatively safe. Here's another one. And I talked to a police chief who worked here, got promoted. He's now the chief of Nether Providence. He said that one of the indicators, if your police is under control, have they shot anybody? And not only shot anybody, how many times did they discharge their firearm? Yeadon Police has not discharged their firearm in 21 years. And 21. And the last person that did it, get all black officers. The last officer shot somebody. It was justified, but shot somebody in the home. It wasn't a white officer, it was a black officer. So if you say get all black officers, because they're going to be more sympathetic to the black population, that's not what happened here. You got to go by the facts. And I'm not saying it wasn't justified. It wasn't a white officer. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a knife-wielding man that stabbed some people. We got a lead on him. He was being chased. I think we got him on Cops Creek. He was swinging his knife at the officer, and I believe he may have been slightly injured. He subdued him without using his firearm. I'm a man of the closet. I think I would have used my firearm. That's how restrained our officers will be. Now, to your point, Ms. Liz, doesn't mean, you're right, people come in, there could be some bad apples, it's a legitimate point, doesn't mean that everybody's going to act the same way, but we do have a reputation and a standard to live up to. That's what we've created in Yeadon. And those are the facts. And the officers coming in know this. We have a good reputation. We're known around the county for having police officers that are under control, and I'm proud of that. And I'm telling you, that knife-wielding man, I don't know how on earth. He got a commendation. It was Officer Tokenitz. He came upon the scene, was able to subdue this man that was totally out of control, stabbing people. How he was able to subdue him without using his firearm was a godsend. So this is the reputation. I'm not saying we can't have bad apples. We do have some new police officers, but this is what I can tell you. Any other questions?
Can you speak about the cameras again?
This is where I think the chief could give us an update. Is that fair?
We were able to get 4 new cameras in Community Park. So we actually have the parking lot covered in Community Park now, and we have the basketball court covered and sort of the field covered, but we were able to get through funding 4 cameras, and we're looking into other camera systems. We just received a grant for $82,000 from PCCD, and that's going to add some cameras to the town. But the cameras are, as the mayor alluded to, the cameras are extremely expensive. We're trying to leverage some Senator Williams to see if he can get us some funding for it. The cameras are expensive. And it's not just the cameras, it's also your cloud storage. So we're looking at other options because that's where they get you on cloud storage, you know, the money to store it. So we're looking at maybe 30 days turnover, try to reduce costs that way. But we're definitely looking to get cameras. If you go down to Chichester, you cannot get in or out of Chichester without them knowing you're in there. They have an unbelievable camera system. We're going to have a road trip with the mayor, Councilor Peets, and Rafi and I are going to go down and look at their system, but they have an unbelievable system. And you're not getting in Chichester without your tag being, recorded and everything. You're getting in, you're going to be in and out of Chichester. We like to have a system like that. And the good thing with Delaware County is what Delaware County has done is everyone's working together. It actually has cameras now that we can actually connect and get, so we can actually share information. We had a situation where on West Cobbs Creek, if you remember, there was a hit and run that happened in the summertime. With this new technology, it's called license plate readers. You'll hear it referred as LPRs. Our Detective Sesnick, who's one of the best investigators I've ever had the privilege of working with, she was able to come in immediately, track down the vehicle, and that helped. So what an LPR does is when you drive through, it collects your tag. So let's say hypothetically, a hit and run, hey, a blue Volvo or a blue car hit, they can type in the system blue, and it'll actually tell you where the vehicle's going through. And in Delaware County, it's interconnected, so when that vehicle goes through, it actually can alert. So you can alert to a vehicle. So we're looking at a lot of technology. So, but again, technology, let's face it, every year a new iPhone comes out, $1,600 iPhone. So, technology's not cheap, but it's something we definitely need to do.
Chief, do you have a contact at Chichester?
Yes, I have the. Oh, I know you do, but I have the card. So, you have any money for us though with the cameras at Chichester?
No, I was going to tell you because I'm
And-
one of my best friends is their council president. So.
And we're dependent a lot upon our new borough manager, Rafi
Yes.
Cave, which I have great optimism. He's doing a great job, and
covered it.
and he's the borough manager is going to spearhead that effort along with the police chief and council. Let me say this also while we're having this give and take.
Oh, I have a question about the camera system.
Sure, go ahead.
Hypothetically, how much are we looking at for the actual storage? You said it's about approximately $200,000 for about 4 cameras, but what's the cost hypothetically for the storage?
I believe the storage is that's incorporated in the cost. The storage, I don't know how that's divvied up or what percentage of that would be dedicated to storage, but that's That includes storage cost. It's not just cameras, it's a whole network. It's about to, I believe so. You should use the, so that people could hear online.
In reference to that, maybe we should have a conversation with Comcast or one of the RCNs or the other companies to see if they'd be interested in entering into partnership with us to help with the cost of that.
And we should keep that on the agenda, yeah. Let me, Ms. Anna? Sure.
Technology. The website went down again. Any information?
That's a bar
Yeah, I can talk.
manager question. It's on.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about the website. So, as you know, our vendor had some security breach in talking to a hired another hired IT partner. They found that on the web page, when they went back and brought the new page back up, they reconstructed the page. One of the attachments had a virus in it. One of the items that was on the new page and the old page had the virus. So they think they've identified what that specific item is. It looks like it's been working okay the last day or two, but it was pretty frustrating. Yeah, today it's fine. I think yesterday morning it was up. The day before that was down again, but it's been pretty consistent since then. We're really crossing our fingers because that was pretty frustrating.
You said that there was an attachment that was on there that had a virus. Do any of the residents have to worry?
Oh, no. Yeah, no resident data is stored through our website. But yeah, no, it was and I don't know what type of file or whatever what was added into the website.
Shouldn't have been anything that we would open.
No. Yeah, it's nothing that the residents would have received either. Yep, good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things usually apprise the residents on where we are with our staffing. We are currently 2 officers down, right, Chief? 2 officers transferred. We're to the point that it's becoming harder and harder to attract and retain full-time officers. It's a problem around the country. It's very, very acute in our area. Philadelphia Police, I don't know, they're like 1,000, or up to the SEPTA, Amtrak, New Jersey Transit. It's hard to keep and attract and retain officers. Part of it is the job is a lot more difficult after George Floyd. It's like I said, we went from one extreme where officers almost had carte blanche to now anything you do, you're suspected. It's the opposite. The working conditions and the like, it's really, really difficult. So we were fortunate in that we're able to fill our open heads, but a lot of what's going on is officers will come to a department like us, be trained, and then go on to like Radnor or it's like 115,000. It's well over 100,000 now for officers, and they'll go to Ben Salem, they'll go to another borough. We lost 2 officers to other boroughs that it's a lot more lucrative. It's hard to compete. But it's a problem locally, it's a problem around the country, and we should make it everything attractive for officers so that we could attract and keep them and retain them. Part of that is salary, working conditions, other variables. So I just want you to know that. Ms. Liz?
To my knowledge, we haven't even tried to hire.
We are.
Advertising civil service tests.
We.
It's been 6 months since the 2 new guys quit in June. We hired
Could you update us? On the civil service process.
We had a civil service meeting with the Civil Service Commission, and they're going to be the Civil Service Commission will be sending the new civil service guidelines to the council for voting on, and we're going to be posting a test in January. The test the announcement will come out in January. There's going to be a test in February for full-time positions. And just real quick, modern technology, shout out to Mike, and also shout out to Miss Lee, because that Aqua thing is true, Councilor Rowcloud. So Mike just sent me the thing, so thank you, Miss Lee. Mike, so it is, I guess they want you to go down your basement and make sure your pipes are, whether they're copper, PVC, CPVC, or actually CPVC.
Yeah, so to your point, Ms. Liz, I believe you jogged my memory, the solicitor had to update something that was out of date in the civil service requirement, and it had to go through a process, and that, I believe, is completed. And so they're starting the hiring process in earnest. That's what happened. Any other questions or concerns?
Mayor, can we
Sure, go ahead.
wrap this up?
Sure, go ahead. Oh, you had a point? Oh, Councilor Pete. All right, then we'll have our raffle. Sister Joy, are we ready for our raffle? And we'll ask Patty if she'd come forward with, everybody got a ticket? Sister Joy, you want to help us? We're going to do tomorrow, Councilor Beatty's going to do this.
Yes.
All right? No. Tomorrow, that's tomorrow. All right?
A lot of gift cards to
You didn't get a ticket? Get one now.
Oh, he has a Cowboys hat on.
Go get a ticket.
Oh, I ain't getting one.
Then we'll put it in.
Did everyone get a ticket? No, I did not.
Then we'll go get a ticket.
Oh, I gotta go get one too.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of tickets, so almost everybody's going to win. Yeah. I always do this one. All right, while we get in the last minute tickets, so let me let you know what the gifts are. We have 5 $10 giant gift cards. So there are 5 of those. We have one $15 Starbucks gift card, and we have a $25 Visa gift card. All right? So we'll ask, so we'll look at your ticket, and go ahead, Sister Joy.
All right, I'll read the last 4 numbers. 2047.
All right, come on down.
2047. Yes. Congratulations, you get the $10 giant.
Yeah, she does win all the time.
Yeah.
Now, if you do the trivia,
Okay.
he's gonna win the trivia.
Next one. Last 4. 2050. 2050. Yes.
She wins every time, too. Very good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Thank you. All right, next one. Two zero 2-0-5-2. Oh,
All right, thank you. Welcome.
all right. All right, next one.
Another.
2053. Hey, there you go. Congratulations. All right, there you go. All right, next one.
The last giant gift card.
Last giant, all right. 1959. 1959. Yes.
Mine.
I'm gonna use this for eggnog ingredients. I'm gonna bring some eggnog.
All right, now we have our $15 Starbucks.
$15 Starbucks. Here we go. 2015. There. Mom Peace.
You got a family.
Mother Peace.
You got a family. Both win today.
Yes.
Son and mother winning.
Congratulations.
Get lucky tomorrow too.
All right, next
And
one.
the last one, we have the $25 Visa gift card.
I have the card here.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Shall I read it out? 1958. Oh my goodness. See? Thank you. Congratulations.
Glad you came.
Yes, well. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. If we don't see you, be safe. Make sure you are vaccinated. I'm a nurse, so the COVID virus has not left. It's still around. If you haven't done so, please do so. Okay? Just to help yourself and others around you. All right? Have a good day, and God bless you.
I just want to say
before-
real quick, we doing this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
$50 gift card for the best ugly sweater.
Hey, listen.
Amazon, $25 gift card to Macy's, and then a bunch of $10 gift cards. So, and free food. Can't beat that.
And before we close, I'm going to ask Liz to close us in prayer. No.
Can you get through?
I got you on that one. We got to keep it light. We got to keep it light. But anyway, really love you all. I thought this was a good meeting, and this is what this is about. So we can hear and be heard and have a give and take and back and forth. It's for all of us. Okay, so that's really good. But there's plenty of food in the back, so please help yourself. Okay? All right, thank you for coming in this very cold weather. Appreciate that. Yeah, really good turnout for the weather. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, see y'all tomorrow.
That's right.